We have three projects in Canada, Finland, and Sweden, and we really are targeting the battery gigafactory market. We're concerned about what's going on in North America and Europe, and there's quite a bit of exploration going on in North America now with the clays and the brines and the direct lithium extraction from groundwater, and then you've got all the pegmatites in Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, and the Carolinas. But when you go to Europe, there just aren't a lot of projects, and the demand is higher in Europe than it is in North America.
Michael Dane joins me now. He's the CEO of United Lithium Corp, trades on the CSE under the symbol ULTH, and in the United States of America under the symbol ULTHF. Michael, welcome back. It has been far too long.
James, good to see you again.
So, Michael, let's talk about United Lithium, though. Lithium being the hottest commodity since sliced bread in 2022, having increased by a factor of 5x so far, up 5% in the futures market just yesterday. You have created a company that is focused on spodumene mining, hard rock mining sources of lithium. Tell us about the company.
So we have three projects in the Arctic Circle, I guess in the northern countries. We have Canada, Finland, and Sweden, and we really are targeting the battery gigafactory market. We're not really too concerned with what's going on in China, but we're concerned about what's going on in North America and Europe. And there's quite a bit of exploration going on in North America now with the clays and the brines and the direct lithium extraction from groundwater. And then you've got all the pegmatites in Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, and the Carolinas. But when you go to Europe, there just aren't a lot of projects, and the demand is higher in Europe than it is in North America. So we made a conscious decision just over a year ago to focus on Europe and to look to feed those gigafactories. And Scandinavia is just like working in Ontario, Northern Ontario, same type of forest, same type of rocks, same equipment's used. So it was quite a natural transition for us to look in that region versus going down into Portugal or some of the other parts of Europe that everything's a little different than how we work here in Canada.
Right. So battery making capacity is up in Europe.
There is more capacity than there is supply available right now.
How far away are your projects from producing lithium at this point?
That depends on a few political angles we approach. How do we permit? Do we permit as a mine or a quarry? Do we permit a concentrate plant separate from a mine? Do we buy a brownfield site to put up our processing facility versus trying to permit a greenfield site? In the extreme fastest way to production without having to go through a PEA, we could probably be in production in under 18 months. If we have to go the full PEA route, if we have to do full environmental permitting versus just permitting a quarry, it could take a lot longer. But super fast, 18 months, normal speed, 3 to 5 years.
We're talking the most advanced one then is the Barbara Lake project in Thunder Bay?
Actually, Barbara Lake is our most grassroots. It's the one we started with. RockTech with their big resource, 10 million tons at just over 1%. We're probably further ahead at both Finland and Sweden. Both of them have had pretty extensive drill programs, and I think we're up to hole like 83 or 84 in Sweden now. Continuing to drill, expect to have another drill on the property shortly. So that one's driving forward. Part of it is logistics. The logistics there are phenomenal. We have a railway line through the property, a power line through the property, a highway through the property. It's like we're 2 hours from downtown Stockholm. Our project in Finland, we're an hour from downtown Helsinki. Our project in northwestern Ontario, we're an hour and change from downtown Thunder Bay. So, logistics are kind of key for bulk commodities, and we really keep that in mind. But Bergby has the logistics. It's really set for it.
Wow. And so when one thinks of mining, one doesn't generally think of Sweden and Finland off the top of one's head. What is the environment there in terms of permitting environmentally? It seems like it's more sensitive socially than other places.
Yeah, I mean, we actually have left out of the area where we are. There's some old growth forest that you can mine in, but we purposely did not stake that ground because we are sensitive to the culture and people. I mean, Swedes like to go out for a hike and go pick mushrooms, and there are two communities that are very close to us, and we can coexist together. It's what we are doing right now for drilling and what we expect to do for mining should not deter people from going for a walk in the woods. We're not looking at making a super pit. We're not looking at doing a big underground operation. The processing facility we don't see being at the mine site, but a distance away. So it is, you have to be culturally sensitive. You have to understand what the needs are. There are rules in Sweden too. Like there's not really a trespassing law. If somebody wants to walk through your back field, that's allowed in Sweden. You just, don't walk up to someone's house, but going for a walk somewhere, it's pretty open ground. We're not in an area where there's the Laplanders or the reindeer herders. We're outside of that, local community, so we don't interfere with that. And we're in an area that's traditionally forestry and logging, so it is, natural resources are acceptable. And Sweden's got some actually quite big mining companies, Boliden, LKAB, the large European iron ore miners, the Lundin Group comes out of Sweden. And if we look to the, only or the nearest term lithium producer, we go to Finland, to Kaliber, which Sibiana Stillwater is a partner in, and Nordic Minerals is a partner in. So you got some bigger shoulders in the Scandinavian countries. Agnico Eagle's over in Finland for gold. So you kind of look at who's there. They just don't tout their horn the same way we do here in North America. So
I'm looking on your site, looking at all the press releases. You guys have been pretty aggressively exploring and developing these projects. I'm curious about the cost of producing lithium from spodumene in terms of metallurgic and processing. Is that something that you have a firm understanding of at this point in your evolution?
Well, we don't know for our own deposits yet. I mean, there is going to be different differences in labor costs for Europe and differences in energy costs for Europe versus what you see in Canada or Australia. But if you look who the big producers are, Australia is probably the dominant producer of lithium, and they're producing it all from hard rock. So if you're going to South America, it's almost exclusively coming from the salars or the salt flats. So different processes, different operations completely. But spodumene mining, hard rock mining, is how they started back in the 1800s. They were hand cobbing the spodumene crystals to process them, and spodumene was originally discovered in Sweden. So there is a history to it in Scandinavia. It just hasn't been really important to the market, other than the ceramics industry out of Portugal for the last 50 years. In
terms of where are you at in the sort of financial capacity? Do you have capital on hand to complete your projects in 2022? Or are you going to need to go to the market?
Well, we have $4 million plus in the bank. I think we're like 4.8 or 4.9. We expect to do a large financing. We did file a or shelf prospectus back in December that will allow us to raise $150 million over a 25-month period. So we still have 23 months to go on that. The markets have been a little squishy since the end of June, so it's been a little tougher to look and say, do we want to take that dilution right now? Because our project, we have, like every other company, we've got tons of assays in the lab, and we're waiting for results from last year still. So it's a matter of waiting, playing catch up with the labs to get some more news out, get a little more excitement. Finland took us, I think it was a good 9 months to close that transaction too. And COVID has made things a little slower. And the actual industry is hot. So finding equipment, finding people, even our lawyers, sometimes they go, hey, can we put this off a week? Because we're swamped. And our lawyers bend over backwards. They're working Saturday, Sunday, 2, 3 in the morning. They're still sending emails. So it's a hot time, and you've lived through the cycles too. You gotta make hay when the sun is shining. So we have to get to production as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Well, fantastic, Mike. We're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you in due course. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks a ton, James. Take care.